the computers here.
They're still doing that. That's weird.
And so,
Okay.
let's,
So I make videos. It's showing that you got this, and maybe I'll clean up some stuff on my computer or something. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. What do you think? Worst day of my life. Yeah. So I make 12, 13-minute videos at a time. So it's not got me like, oh, I do have some videos on here, not on the camera, but whatever. Well, none of this stuff has me, I'm not a tech person. I don't, I've taken apart some of the Xboxes to do repair work on them and stuff. I didn't have the resources. I saw the one guy do it. It's like, oh yeah, I could do all that stuff. You could get the soldering gun and the this and that, and you can do all that stuff, and you can clean it and weld it and put on the gloves and all that stuff. It's like, I just don't have the time, and I could say, okay, this that works with that, and I say, okay, and stuff. And so, it wouldn't be too hard. It'd be pretty easy for me to ascertain what I was doing and comprehend, and then work on it and stuff. But I just don't want to. Well, video gaming is, I did like that with James. I watched the one where, I did the conferences more correctly. It's like, yeah, I did that too. And it really freaks the AI out because you take all the top NIL guys and you put them in with people that are not. Okay. And it does do top heavy stuff. But what happens is like when you put Michigan and Ohio State and Notre Dame and stuff in the MAC, it doesn't know how to act. So I turned around and what I did is I kept the MAC, and I kept the old traditional rivalries of the big schools versus the little schools, and then but I put them in geographically correct locations, and so it kept its algorithm to where it wouldn't freak out. Okay, you freak its algorithm out because it's based off of status quo genocidal economics. So it's going to get weird and it's going to get wacky and it's not going to know what to do, but it's going to buy these bottom feeders. If any of them come out of there, it's, whoa. And so and typically you could do it a bunch of times and, it's going to, if the Mac is not the big, and so it's going to, you keep going through it and keep doing that. It's going to do similar things because it's a piss poor algorithm from a bunch of philanthropists that are mind fucking perverts. And so, yeah, so you can only learn so much from military propaganda mind fucking by playing electronic arts. And then after a while, it's like, okay, these people so need to stop, or they so need their technology to kill them, right? And after that, it's like, and it's worse now with NIL and all that crap than it was back in 2014 when they stopped making it and they had all those white cornerbacks and black kickers and he's like, what the fuck? And so Lamar Jackson being an athlete that's a white guy that looks like a Viking. It's like, yeah, no, let's just go completely Planet of the Apes in reverse. It's like we left the planet and we came back 4,000 years later, right? 4,000 years later. And so it would frustrate me. What I would do is I would recruit those players that were the white guy with the ponytail and then take medium black 24 and because I like dreads, and make him that, make it more evolutionary, make it more correct. Okay. And so that's what I would do is I would take a lot of the athletes that they had as white guys and make them black guys, just make it more correct. Well, because there's me and there's not many more like me, there's not a lot of guys like me in the world. And now you look at me play and it's like, oh my gosh, you look so, and it's like, wow. If I bring out those kind of emotions and that kind of abuse and the worst people in the history of the world, then, I must be doing something right to draw attention to myself to get people to, well, the other thing is too, is like, I was sitting there thinking about right and wrong and people, getting their pages in the Gospels. When I used to go make videos, okay, at the Zool Library at NMSU, One time I left, and there were a bunch of kids from Mesilla Valley Christian that went to school there, whose dads most of them probably work at White Sands. Some of them are hospital administrators. Okay. And so you have these kids who are kids of people that signed off on my mother and killed her with cancer to mindfuck me, to get me in a certain way of thinking, to be angry at people that are corrupt through corporations. And that their dads work on spy equipment that watch my wife's and children be sexually groomed and abused by, local military heroes that are good Christians and fighting Christian soldiers. And I go down to the zoo library to post videos to stop the Tyler Sheridan movies and the Sicario movies so we can all live the Lord's Prayer and stop turning those wackadoodles on TV into heroes, because they're nothing like the apostles or Lord Saladin or Jesus or David or Samson or myself, right? And these kids have the audacity, to wait outside for me and be doing this artwork, and I come and talk to them, encourage them to be good Christians, and they tell me, you're wrong. Okay, wait, your dad watches my daughter and my wife get sexually abused by military units to see if I go off. And he doesn't tell you, but you're sitting here getting in my face, telling me, you're wrong about Jesus. Jesus is our God that died to pay for our sins. And you're nothing like Jesus. It's like, and your old man is chip off the old block there, huh? He's just Samson's little boy, right? Like, shit. And they did that to me. And I didn't tell this, I wasn't that snotty to him. I just kept encouraging him, let's all stand up and try to be like Jesus and the apostles. Well, you can't do it, but our old men do. Your dads do and your moms do. Work at the forts and do genome sequencing at New Mexico State. That David Rockefeller, man, that was a sick and twisted old man. They'll gladly kill over me and my grandpa's money and watch you and Jesus die, Parsons. Is like, yeah, he knows these little bastards. He trained them. He raised them. He Pavlov's dogged them. He knows them better. You know better than I. You know the way. I'll take the answers you supply, for you know better than I. I'd rather be on Mulan. I think Donny Osmond is a better singer than that guy, being, Donny Osmond sings for the guy from Doink Doink, Dick Wolf's Sexual Victims Unit, that, the guy who voices it, he doesn't sing. Donny Osmond sings for the guy from Doink Doink on Mulan. Like that ain't Amir Khan's and Salif Ali Khan's and Sid's real voice on Dil Chahta Hai, right? You know that, right? I didn't know. Amy had to explain it to me. No, they have singers and stuff. They don't have dancers. They have to do their own dancing, right? They don't have a stand-in to do their own dancing, right? So they have to do the dance moves. They have to John Travolta it, okay? But they're not like John Travolta. They don't do their own singing. It's like, get out of here. Amir Khan has somebody else sing for him? Salif Ali Khan, Sid doesn't sing that good? But he has such a good voice. It's not him. It's another guy singing. That is so fucked up. The other guy must not be a very good dancer. He must look like the guys from Villi Vanilli that are not Villi Vanilli, right? Wow. What a tangled web we weave. America. I was watching some of 70s show last night. Who's RF? Who's RF? $75 is on this, Red. Wait, it's tomorrow. What's the next day? Okay, who wins? It's RF. Who's RF? It's like Red Foreman. That's why he's down there in the basement when Jackie and then Kelso are fighting. It was funny. I was like, that's some funny shit right there. Yeah. Oh, it's stupid. It's a very stupid show. Yeah. It was the 2 episodes with the girlfriend that's psycho. And Don Asia. And I'm like, this is some funny stuff. 2001. Yeah. Well, I really relate to the 70s shows because that was my formative years, was the 1970s. My high school years was the 80s. Okay. When I got into high school, it was the 80s. Okay. And I ran so far away, the MTV generation and stuff. And I grew up like, the 70s was so much better. But when you get right down to it, a lot of the 60s and the 50s were even better, because I was like, oh no, but you know what? But I really like the Shotlights. I do too. Delphonics too. Yes. So, you get the but the Platt, Tony Williams and the Platters, for crying out fucking loud there, Tommy Edwards. Seriously, right? Every generation is better than the last generation. It's like, no, we're all just bumping uglies for money. I sat and watched a little report that a guy did for about Johnny Rodriguez, and I was, oh my gosh, he shot a house guest by accident who was staying with him because he thought he was an intruder and killed him. Oh, that would be horrible. Oh, poor Johnny Rodriguez, because he probably had forms of acute paranoia because of his money and the problems with money and people doing, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so horrible. We need to live that Lord's Prayer yesterday, folks. So Selena doesn't get killed. Johnny Rodriguez doesn't kill one of his friends, and you all don't get caught on camera. But they caught you on camera. It wasn't me. Saw the marks on my shoulder. The only person I ever knew who killed somebody to fuck his wife was King David. It's like, you don't read too good, does you? Yeah, no. He called the guy back in and said, "Why didn't you tell me that this woman was your wife? She didn't introduce herself as your husband. I mean, you didn't introduce yourself as her husband, and she wasn't introduced to me as your wife. Okay, she might be pregnant now. You might want to go have sex with her, or hypocrites and heathens will try to kill her and the unborn baby." And Uriah said, "No." And David said, "You will have this innocent child be killed because of politics?" And Uriah said, "Yep." So David sat down and wrote down on a piece of paper, put him out there all by himself with no one to protect him and no one to protect him from his sin or my sin, and see how he likes it. I read the Bible, and that's exactly what it says. If you don't read the Bible too good, well, then ask Elon Musk for help with money for your education systems. That's all I got to say about that. So, but if you trust me and you believe in what I'm doing, you can believe in Jesus and Saladin and Muhammad and Haile Selassie. You can believe that I can correct all the lies that people tell about the Messiah because he's the wrong color and from the wrong continent. And he's not American made. Well, it says during the apocalypse that he was born in the valley of the shadow of death, where they use the nuclear weapons to continue to threaten to murder us all if we don't accept idolatry as kindness with money and usury y también. You guys get it? Okay. So, but we caught you on camera. It wasn't you. It was you. And Rockefeller, "They'll gladly kill over me and my grandpa's money and watch you and Jesus die, Parsons." Well, good thing life is eternal and grace is infinite, and that's the truth. All you philosophers out there, all right? You know how much I love you, right? More than Kenny Rogers in the first edition. All right, love you. All right, peace.